Hey guys, it's What Is This here. What Is This YT on Instagram and on YouTube, of course, where you're seeing this video. And I just want to tell you guys about what exactly I'm doing with this channel, what I'm interested in, what I'm going to be sharing with you guys, and what you can get from it. Okay? So, I'm out in nature here, as you can see, and I didn't really plan anything out for this video, but I'm just going to kind of speak off the cuff and try to tell you what this channel is about as I'm getting it up and running. So mainly this channel is a philosophy channel, but it's not academic philosophy per se. So when I say philosophy, I'm thinking of philosophy with a capital P. Real philosophy. The philosophy that tries to get to the heart of what existence is, of what consciousness is, and what you are, what the world and reality is, all these questions. And I differentiate it from academic philosophy because that discipline has become very technical and narrow, and it stopped really asking the biggest questions under the belief that it's impossible to actually answer them, or it's somehow impractical or irrelevant, or it's not rigorous enough, something like that. But I don't believe in that perspective at all. And that's why I'm really trying to answer these biggest questions. That's what I care about the most. So if you're interested in that stuff, you'll definitely get a lot from this channel. But aside from just answering the biggest questions, I also want to talk about personal development. Because personal development or self-help, these things really mean the same thing, are a big part of life. Because ultimately, if you think about what it is that we want out of life, what we want is what is good for us. Because we are kind of selfish creatures, right? But the problem is that we don't know how to get what is good for us. Because we might think, I just need to get a lot of money, or a lot of power, a lot of sex, a lot of something like that, and then I'll be happy. But that's not really how it works, and humans have known this for a long time. This is why the yogis have talked about how pleasure seeking is not going to lead anywhere. So have Christian monks, really. As humanity, we've known this for a long time. But then how do you actually get the best life? How do you actually attain the good that you're seeking? Because we're always seeking after the good. Well, that's the big question. So I guess we can add that to the list of big questions as well. And here, it's not necessarily only about the truth, but it's also about your own direct experience and whether you're enjoying your life, right? But I think what you find when you study personal development, spirituality, and all this very deeply is that your happiness and the truth ultimately converge. Okay? Now, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that the highest levels of bliss that are attained in meditation by yogis, for example, those actually correlate with truth, because these realizations that you get through meditation, or you can get them through psychedelics, mystical states, they all have this component of bliss and of truth and profound realization, which shows that these two roads of personal development and philosophy actually lead to the same destination. All roads lead to Rome, so to speak. So yeah, on this channel I'm going to be talking about philosophy as I see it, personal development, and spirituality, of course. As you can probably guess from how I've been talking about yogis and stuff so far, I'm very into spirituality, and I think that it's an important component of philosophy, because spirituality is asking the question, what is anything? What is consciousness? So it is the same thing. Spirituality is a type of philosophy, really. It's just something that is kind of ignored by Western culture generally in the intellectual climate of the 21st century. But that doesn't mean that it's invalid in any way, right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about my influences in this work. So, I'm a big fan of Actualize.org. If you haven't heard of that, Actualize.org is a website and YouTube channel started by Leo Gura, and it focuses on spirituality, personal development, and philosophy, really, as well. So, what I'm doing, in a way, is an imitation of Actualize.org, but I'm bringing my own personal vision to it. I'm not just copying what I've learned. I'm taking what I've learned and changing some things, keeping some things, and that's really how you learn. And everyone has to learn from certain teachers, and then they improve on them and move beyond them. So yeah, actualize.org is a big influence to me, and I would recommend checking that out. It's a very deep understanding of reality that is conveyed in Leo's talks of multiple hours. And aside from that, I have looked into many different corners of spirituality, such as spiritual gurus, including Sadhguru, Eckhart Tolle, of course, Rupert Spira is a good non-dual guru, and I've dabbled in some others, such as Adi Da, and so on. The best spiritual guru I actually found is Peter Ralston, and Peter Ralston was originally a martial artist. He's very old now, but many years back he was a martial artist, and what was special about him is that he sort of had this deep power of using direct experience and consciousness from a young age. And when he studied martial arts, he didn't simply do what he was told and copy the techniques of the great schools like jiu-jitsu and karate. Instead, he just decided for himself what made sense and took a non-conformist approach to martial arts, which actually made him world-class. And he was considered the best in the world at some point. But then after martial arts, what he did is he actually applied that same consciousness paradigm to consciousness itself. And he kept questioning and questioning and had profound enlightenments. And I've learned a lot from his books and his material as well. And then aside from all of the spiritual stuff, I am actually a student of philosophy, just normal philosophy, academic philosophy, the stuff that anyone thinks of when they hear philosophy, like Plato, Aristotle, blah blah blah, Hegel, Marx, Descartes. I could add a few more name drops, but I think it's getting a little bit excessive at this point. So yeah, I am actually studying philosophy in university. So I do have the knowledge of academic philosophy. I just also like to go beyond it in my own work. And finally, another thing I like to cover that pertains to personal development is some practical stuff. Because, we are creatures who care about more than just the highest truths. And a lot of the time what I find is that if you're in a difficult situation in life, like a difficult survival situation, you don't have your needs met, you're not going to be focusing on questions like what is consciousness, what is God, or anything. You're just focusing on how to get money or how to be more confident or something like that. And that's why those questions, or those concerns rather, have to be tackled in order to move on to deeper things. And that's not to minimize them either. It's important to, have your basic needs met in life and to improve as a human, not just as some kind of spiritual entity, So I'm not against self-improvement. I'm not against things like going to the gym or starting a business or working on your social skills, understanding your personality. That kind of stuff isn't spiritual per se, but it does relate to understanding yourself as a human. And then what happens is that as you understand yourself as a human and you improve at these human things, you keep moving up in levels, and eventually you're getting to the point where you're climbing up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the top you have self-actualization, right? But even beyond that, you have self-transcendence, and that's what spirituality is all about. So actually, it's not contradictory to pursue these material things, as long as you're not getting lost in them, because once you fulfill those and transcend them, you actually can be in an even better position to do spirituality, truth-seeking, and philosophy, the kind of stuff that I'm all about. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting. This is just an introductory video. I'm going to have a lot more videos in the future. They probably won't be outside, and they'll be a little more structured. This was just kind of off the cuff, telling you what I'm going to be talking about on this channel. And you can expect some videos on God. I have a video planned on God that I plan to release at some point in the future, where I explain why God actually does exist, even though religions are wrong. So it's a non-religious notion of God. And I'll be talking about some of the limitations of academic philosophy and more interesting stuff in the future. So for now, you can check out my YouTube shorts that are already posted under my channel, and I also post those on Instagram as Instagram Reels. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and see you guys in the next video.